everyone. Welcome to the Wellness Collective here in Anderson, South Carolina. My name is Beth, and I'm really excited to be teaching you today online. I hope that everything is going well for you all as you're social distancing and staying at home. I hope to be able to check in with some of you guys very, very soon. And I want to give you just a really quick reminder that if you haven't signed up for a class today yet, to go ahead over to the Wellness Living app or wellnessliving.com, find the Wellness Collective in that app or online, and sign up and pay for your classes there, just to help me keep the studio afloat as we're going through these really weird, strange times. Okay, I really appreciate that. So today's practice is going to be a little bit shorter, and we're going to focus in on stretching the hips. We're going to focus in on stretching the glutes and working a little bit of the thighs and stretching the legs as well. So I hope that you really enjoy this. So we're going to get started right away here. So go ahead and come on into child's pose, and let's start to get integrated and settled into our practice today. Thanks. So we're going to bring the big toes together, maybe draw the knees out wide, and then walk your hands down or towards the top of your mat. Just allow the forehead to rest. And begin to breathe, inhaling through the nose, hollow out the back of the throat, and exhale through the nose or out through the mouth. Either is fine. Maybe roll across the forehead from temple to temple, just releasing any stress or anxiety that you might be holding there. And then feel the space between each vertebrae or each bone in your back get longer. Begin to find your intention for your practice today, whatever that might be. Maybe it's something physical, maybe you have a lot of tightness in your low back or through your hips or through your legs and thighs, and you just want to get that taken care of. Or maybe it's something a little bit deeper. Maybe it's stress relief or just getting the body moving. Maybe there's a connection that you want to make in your brain with either yourself and your body, or maybe even with God today. And so I just encourage you to take this opportunity to find what it is that you need in your practice. Good. So on your next breath in, we're going to go ahead and come up into tabletop position. Pull the knees in right up underneath the hips, the wrists stack right up underneath the shoulders. Turn the index fingers forward, and the middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, they're going to flare out to the side. Turn the insides of the elbows forward as well. We're just going to begin to move a little bit through our cat-cows, just getting the spine nice and warm. So inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, drop the belly. And exhale, protract the shoulders, round the upper back and tuck the tailbone under. And then inhale, lift up. And then just move at the pace of your own breath through your cat-cows. And feel free to take any motion that your body needs today just to get nice and warm. And today, because our focus is a little bit more on our hips and thighs, we're going to just come right on into a down dog. So take maybe one more round of your cat-cows, and then eventually just make your way back into your tabletop position. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale the breath out, pulling the belly in. Just keep breathing, shoot the tailbone out through the back. Gaze is down at the mat, crown of the head is pointed forwards. Good. Next breath in, you're going to tuck your toes under, and you're going to lift those hips up, 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 and back. Good. So you're trying to shoot the tailbone up to the back upper corner of the room. You can keep a big bend in the knees here. Those arms are super straight and strong. And just for a moment, feel the stretch in your shoulders. And maybe begin to pedal the feet out. So in our downward dog, we really want to make sure that the upper back is really nice and straight, that you're genuinely in an upside down V. And there is a really nice video tutorial on the correct way to do downward facing dog on my YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out. Okay, we're going to just begin to move through our sun salutations here, just getting the body nice and warm. So on your next breath in, look forward, bend the knees, step or float to the top of the mat, come into your halfway lift. Good. Then exhale, fold all the way down, drop the head and the neck, maybe put a bend in your knees if you want to, and then take the feet out nice and wide. And then go ahead and drop all the way down, grab opposite elbows, sway from side to side, finding ragdoll here. Keeping the breath slow and steady all the way through our practice today. Good, so you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings here and even in your inner thighs. If you want a little bit more in your hips, what we're going to do is start to bend the left knee and come over, and then bend the right knee, come over, and then your arms or your elbows make sort of like a figure 8. So you can just really get the body awake and alive and moving this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, whenever you're taking this particular class, right? Good, then just go ahead and drop the hands down. Heel toe the feet back in, about hips width distance apart. And then on your inhale, we're going to lift all the way up, extended mountain. Reach the arms up, draw the shoulder heads down away from the ears, and let the shoulder blades melt. On your exhale, hands come down to the heart center. Press your feet into the floor. Squeeze your glutes. Engage your quads. Pull the belly in. Roll the shoulders up, down, and away. If you need to, finding a nice Tadasana, nice mountain pose. Good. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Maybe turn the gaze up. And then exhale, we're going to swan dive down all the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, release, plant the hands, step or float back. Take your flow, so you're going to find high plank on the inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, or knees can drop down. Inhale, lift up for cobra. And then exhale, using the core, push the belly button through the back as you move into down dog. Let's go through that 2 more times. Inhale, make your way to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step or jump it back. Take that flow. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward face. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time. Inhale, make your way to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold, step or float back. Take that flow with breath. And find your down dog. Good, take a deep breath. Here in that down dog, we're going to move through the sun bees. Inhale, take your feet all the way to the top of the mat, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, palms together. Exhale, sit down for chair. Finding strength and engagement in your thighs here. Good, inhale, rise back up. And then exhale, let's swan dive down. Step or jump back. Take that flow. Right leg is going to reach up and back like you're pulling it through water, nice and slow. And then exhale, pull the foot right between the hands. Back foot comes on the angle. Inhale, rise up for warrior 1. Since we're really focusing on the hips and the thighs and the legs, if you want to keep your hands down by your sides today, that's absolutely fine, especially if your shoulders are pretty tight. Get your right knee directly over your right ankle as much as possible. Hands can stay here. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Make sure the hips feel level. And then if you want, you can lift the arms up. Good. Then exhale, go ahead and bring the hands down, step back. You can flow it out, or you can find your downward facing dog. Opposite side, left leg, pull it through the water as you lift it up, inhaling. Exhale, foot between the hands. Back foot comes on the angle, warrior one. Inhale, lift. Good, again, hands can stay down by the side. You want to keep drawing that left hip back, right hip forward, hips stay level. Notice all the time in your yoga practice just where your body is in space, okay? Very important part. Good, then exhale. Hands are going to come down. We're going to take that flow. Maybe you come into up dog. And then we're just going to press into down dog. Nice. Let's come through chair to that chair pose again. Inhale to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now this time just bring the big toes together and lift straight up into that chair pose. So go ahead and just lift up, up, up. So the arms can be out in front of you if your shoulders are super tight today. They can be up. Hands can stay in a prayer. That's absolutely fine. Holding this for just a little bit longer. Good. Then inhale, lift all the way up, extended mountain. And then exhale, swan dive down. Halfway lifting, inhale. And then go ahead and exhale, step or jump back, take that flow. Good, left leg is going to reach up and back, inhaling, then exhale, foot comes between the hands. Let's rise up for warrior one. Inhale, the arms raise. Exhale, the hands come down to frame the foot. Step back, take your down dog, or flow it out. Now, you didn't think we were going to work the arms very much, but we did. Or we are, aren't we? Right leg, inhale, lifts up. Exhale, foot between the hands. Back foot on the angle, inhale, lift up, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down, step it back. Good. This time we're going to inhale, right foot's going to reach up and back. Exhale, foot comes right between the hands. Let's go ahead and lift up into high crescent warrior. So go ahead and inhale, lift those arms up. Get the knees stacked directly over the ankle, that right knee. Press through the left heel and engage those left glutes. And maybe you just turn the gaze up towards the ceiling as you experience this, as you engage the left glutes, really protect that low spine, which we've talked about before in our spinal class or our back class. One more deep breath in, and on our exhale, we're going to open up to warrior two. So in your warrior two, I want you to get deep here, okay? Get the knee right over the ankle, the right knee. Press the outside edge of that back foot. Now you can take your stance out longer here. Obviously, the longer you take your stance out, the more difficult it is, right? The deeper the lunge, correct? Shoulders are going to melt away from the ears. Draw the shoulder blades together slightly, and then turn the gaze over the front middle fingers. Good. Now I want you to try to keep the knee directly over the ankle, and you're going to lift that right arm up for peaceful, warrior, and then find your extended side angle. Lift the left arm up, maybe extend it across the ear, really engaging through the fingertips there. Turning the gaze up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, peaceful warrior. And then exhale, windmill the arms all the way down. Step back and flow it out. Or find down dog, your choice. Good. The left leg is going to reach up and back as we inhale. The left leg, I hope that's what I said. Exhale, Pull that foot between the hands. Keep that left knee directly over the ankle. Press through the right heel, engaging the right glute as you lift up. High crescent warrior. Squeezing the right butt cheek here. Feeling super strong. The legs are super engaged. The core is engaged. The glutes are engaged. Maybe turn the gaze up towards the ceiling. Feel how rooted you are through the mat, and then feel how light you feel up through the fingertips. Good, one more deep breath in. And on our exhale, we're going to open up to warrior two. Again, you can elongate that stance. You want to get as deep as you can here because you start to get a really nice stretch in your inner thighs. Even though you're engaging the quadricep muscles and other leg and hip muscles, there's still a stretch happening in other muscles that need it, obviously. So we're pressing through the outside edge of the back foot. Knee is directly over the ankle. Pull in the pelvic floor, pull in the belly. Arms come out to the side, shoulder blades down away from the ears, shoulder blades together slightly. And breathe. Again, we're going to try to keep that left knee directly over the ankle as we reach up for peaceful warrior with the left hand. And then we're going to exhale, extended side angle. Lift the right arm up straight, or maybe extend it towards the front of the room, wherever you are. Turning the gaze up towards the ceiling. Good. Then inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms all the way down. Step back. Take your flow or find your down dog. And then also feel free to take a child's pose. Good. So we're going to take a moment here and get set up into some deeper hip and thigh stretches. So we really want to take care of that part of our body right now. So we're going to the first pose we're going to come into is frog pose, which is not my favorite pose. You guys know this. And the reason it's not is because I probably need to do it more. This is a really deep stretch for the hips and then the inner thighs as well. So if you have a blanket or just something soft, you may want to use that here. If not, it's okay. I want you to go at your own pace. For some of you, I know you can come into full frog just fine. So just come into full frog and breathe through that. But just take it easy because our bodies are getting more warm, but it's going to take a little while to stretch out. And this is a pretty deep stretch to start out with, but I did it on purpose, okay? So we're going to come onto the belly. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. So I'm going to come onto my forearms just so I can kind of see to make sure I'm teaching you the right way. Okay, so I'm going to do actually half frog because that feels better to me. So a little bit less weight on the inside of my knees. So what I'm going to do is try to keep both hip bones planted down into the mat. I don't want one to lift up if I can help it, okay? And then I'm going to start to bend the left knee. I'm starting with the left just because that's what you can see, right? Bend the left knee, and I want the knee to be in the same line as my hip joint. And then I want my ankle to be in the same line as my knee. And then I'm going to flex my ankle. So I'm shooting my foot basically towards you, right? And then from here, I'm going to really, really think about that hip coming down and just allowing it to relax. And then I'm going to come down on to the belly. Maybe the forehead comes to my hands or whatever feels good to you. And you want to just try to relax here. And then I want you to try to hold, if you're holding on just one side, I want you to do one side for about 2 minutes to 3 minutes or so, and then come to the other side. Now, if you're practicing full frog, which, like I said, I'm not super great at, because my inner thighs are very, very tight. Let me move this out of the way. You would come onto the knees, come almost into that straddle, and then go ahead and get your knees in alignment with your hips, the ankles in alignment with your knees, and flex the feet. And then you would come down. Maybe only onto the forearms as you release. And breathe really, really deeply for this, because every exhale that you make, you'll notice that the muscles will relax a little bit every time. And we want to pull that fresh oxygen into our bloodstream as we're practicing, especially as we're holding postures for longer. So I'm going to tell you, actually, I'm going to roll my mat up for just a second, because this is such a grippy mat, which is great, but it doesn't give me very much room to let the knees kind of slide out and get deeper into this. So as the inner thighs begin to release, maybe I can come down onto the chest, or stretch the arms out, forehead down. Hope you guys are doing okay. Good. And then anytime you're ready to come out of this, you can come out of this if you start to feel sharp pain. Obviously, we don't want sharp pain. We want stretchy pain. If that's the such thing, I think that it is. It's kind of like that hurt so good feeling, like when you get a massage or whatever. That's kind of what you're going for. That's what we want. All right. So as we're going to come back up, and then we're going to just find our way on our seat. We're going to counterpose that just a little bit for our hips, just taking care of our hips here a little. So we're going to cross the right knee over the left, and then just go ahead and bend the left knee. We're going to just come into a cow face. Now I know this is hard for some people to do, so even if you just cross your legs here, that's great. But what we're working towards is stacking the knees right on top of one another, and bring the ankles out as much as you can in alignment with the knees. So you're kind of in a straight line here, okay? And now just feel your right hip. You can even take your thumbs in that hip crease, and maybe even just kind of manually start to push that right hip down. So we're just stretching the opposite side. So we just stretch the inner thigh and a little bit of the hip flexor. So now we're getting into the glutes a little bit more. Good. So as you really melt into this cow face pose, you can add on from here if you'd like. You can just begin to lift up through the crown of the head, open the chest up, and then lead with the chest as you fold forward, just extending the hands forward, and maybe even allowing your head to just drop down nice and gently, and just breathe here. So you should find a pretty good deep stretch through your hips here, even on both sides. Every exhale, I want you to try to just relax those outer hips and glutes and thighs as much as you can. Just finding a softness. Good. We're going to walk the hands back up, take the hands behind you, and if you can, in just one fell swoop, you can just switch the legs, right? All right, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the left knee is on top of the right. Our ankles are in alignment with our knees as much as possible. You might notice one side is tighter than the other. This is my tight side. Again, you want to start to press the left hip down, to maybe even use your hand and sort of manually take care of that if you need to. And then just let that hip sort of release as you breathe. Just nice and slow. You can stay seated just like this, or if you want, you can walk the hands forward and come into like a forward fold over your legs, over your knees there. And just breathe. Again, every exhale releasing, just a little bit more relaxing. And then just gently walk the hands back up. Go ahead and unfold the legs, extend them out in front of you, lift the arms up, inhaling, and then on your exhale, take a nice forward fold, extending through the chest, just taking the hands down wherever it feels the most comfortable, reminding yourself not to round in your lumbar spine, but if you need to round somewhere, if you want to bring your head closer to your shins or your knees or whatever, you're going to round through the thoracic spine. So I'm going to turn to the side and actually demo this a little bit better. So as you fold forward, the back is nice and neutral. So if you only come to here, that is fine. If you want to come all the way down, I want you to still continue to think about pressing your chest forward. And then maybe you tuck all the way in. Okay, then we're going to slowly come all the way back up. I'm going to turn towards you again. I'm going to take the legs out wide, just as wide as feels good to you. So I'm not looking for you to do a straddle split here. If you can, that's great, but it's not necessary. So we're just going to turn the body across the right leg, sort of flex at the ankle, and then try to keep both shoulders level as you fold forward here. And just breathe. And then if you want to, you can bring the right elbow onto the inside of that right knee. Maybe you take your peace fingers to the big toe, around the big toe, or don't. You can keep your hand out. And then maybe you just start to peel the left shoulder open, reaching the left arm up, or taking it to the low spine, or wrapping it around for a bind. Whatever feels the best to you. Good. Let's gently unwind ourselves, come back to center, lift really tall through the crown of the head, and then turn over the left leg, torso over the left leg, shoulders neutral. Go ahead and extend through the spine, leading with the chest as you fold forward. Just coming down however far feels right to you. So as you flex the foot here, you get a little bit of a stretch through your calf as well, which is very, very nice. Good. Then if you want to, you can take that left elbow onto the inside of the knee, peace fingers around the big toe. If you want, hand can be down on the floor. And then we're just going to peel the right shoulder open, turn the gaze up, look up, extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. Stay there if you want. Take the hand to the low back if you want. Just keep peeling the chest open. Or maybe you take that bind, which is harder on this side. And just breathe. This is one of my favorite stretches for the back, especially for those erector spinae muscles and for the QL muscles. It's really, really great for that. Anytime we stretch the back, we're doing a really good thing for our hips as well. Anytime we stretch our hips, we're doing great things for our back. Good, so slowly unwind yourself, come back to center, lift up really straight and tall, and then pull the feet together, bend the knees. I'm going to sit back on my mat just a little bit. And then we're just going to let the knees open up. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana or butterfly or cobbler pose. I've heard it called so many different things. Just allow the knees to just rest down. So just kind of relax down, okay? Lift really tall through the crown of the head. Stay here. Hands can be on the ankles. That's fine. Or if you want to, you can take a big breath in. And then again, on our exhale, folding forward, but extending through the chest to elongate the spine, right? You always want to keep the spine long. You can come forward. You can take your hands around the ankles and maybe press the elbows into the knees, giving yourself just a little bit of resistance. If you have sandbags, 10-pound sandbags, 5-pound sandbags, anything like that, sometimes it's nice when you're working this to just place those on your knees and just to give yourself a little resistance. But just making sure that it's not pressing you past your point. You shouldn't feel sharp pain in this at all, okay? Good, let's go ahead and come back up to center. And then we're just gonna take our hands in front of us. We're gonna make our way into sort of a straddle stretch here, a standing straddle stretch. So make sure the outside of the feet are in the same line with the tops of or bottom of your mat. Good, so you're in a halfway lift. The hips are stacked in the same line as the ankles here, so you should be able to bring your hands to your heart here. Gaze can be down, crown of the head extended forward. Couple ways you can practice this right now. We're going to work on some strength and some flexibility all at the same time. So we're going to take a deep breath in. On our exhale, we're going to skandasana to the left. Good. Inhale, we're going to come back to center. Exhale, we're going to skandasana to the right. Inhale, lift up. So you're powering through those quads, right, as you lift up. But you're stretching the inner thighs as you come down, right? So just keep the breath slow and steady as you move through. And then at any time, if you want to just work a little bit more on flexibility, rather than just building strength, you can take the hands down and walk them from side to side, just taking a little bit of the pressure away from the quads. Okay, so we're going to come back to center, and we're going to go ahead and skandasana to the left again, just so whenever you get there, it's fine. And then if it feels okay to you, you're going to turn the right toes up. And then if you want, you can melt down. And breathe, obviously. If you want to progress in this just a little bit more, you can take your left arm around your left knee. Find the bind. So the right hand comes behind you. You grab the left fingertips. You also find balance here, which is fun. Good. Then let's unwind from there if that's where you were and come back to center. Again, hips over the ankles. Exhale, skandasana to the right. And then turn the left toes up. And just breathe, breathe, breathe. And then if you want, find a spinal extension by folding, or just by coming down, extending the arms in front of you. And then if you want to take that variation of the bind, you can wrap the right arm around the right knee. Find your bind. Roll that left shoulder open, turning the gaze up towards the ceiling. Find that balance in this. Find your stability and breathe. Good. Release when you're ready. Come back to center to that neutral, halfway lifted spine. Good, and then go ahead and take the hands on the hips. Inhale, lift all the way up to center. Turn the right toes forward. And then just go ahead and place the hands down. Step back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out a lot here. And breathe. Good, we're gonna lift the right leg up and back. You're gonna start to peel the right hip open. Bend the knee, send the knee towards the ceiling. Send the heel towards the glutes and draw the right shoulder down. Engage through the belly. Take a couple of breaths here in your three-legged hook dog. And then inhale, we're going to re-square the hips. Exhale, we're going to come into half pigeon. So you're going to take the knee to the outside of the right wrist. Walk the left foot back. And then over to center just a little bit. Lift up through the crown of the head as you inhale, and then exhale. Go ahead and melt down wherever feels good to you. Maybe it's just on your forearms today. Making sure that you find an external rotation of that hip. So the knee should be on the outside of the line of the hip for this posture. Making sure you breathe deeply. Good, and then just gently start to rise up. See if you can keep your hips square, excuse me, in this, and just begin to bend the left knee, reach around and grab the left ankle, and get the quad stretch in there. If you have a full king pigeon in your practice, you can take that now. I just encourage you, especially when you don't have a teacher sort of monitoring your alignment and those kind of things, is just sort of take it easy, go at your own level and don't try to push yourself, because that's just kind of that's really how you get injured, is when you don't really have so much awareness of what where your body is, I guess, in space. And so I'd much rather you practice safely during this time. You know your limitations. Good. Release out of that press back, nice and slow, into either tabletop first and then down dog, or come straight into down dog, pedal the feet out a lot. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, you're going to lift the left leg up. Keep that left shoulder in the same line as the right shoulder. Bend the knee, send that knee high up towards the ceiling, send the heel towards the glutes. Let that right heel melt down more towards the mat if you can. And breathe. For your hook dog here. Opening those hips up. Good. Inhale, re-square, kick that left leg all the way up. And then on your exhale, take that knee to the outside of the wrist. The shin is is parallel to the front of the mat as feels good to you. Then walk that right foot back and then over to midline just a little bit. Inhale, open up through the chest and through the crown of the head. And then exhale, maybe find your forearms, stay here. Take a few breaths here until you start to feel that outer hip start to release. And then maybe you come all the way down onto the forehead. And then when you're ready, we're going to get those quads stretched out. So come back up onto the hands. Try to keep the hips level if you can. If you need to come onto the left hip, that's okay. Begin to bend the right knee, reach around, grab the outside, or grab around the front of the ankle. Maybe you can get a greater quad stretch actually if you flex at the ankle, drawing the heel into the glutes. And breathe. And then of course, if you have a king pigeon in your practice, feel free to take that. Just be mindful of where you are. Good, release that down, plant the right hand back down, slowly come into tabletop position if you need that first, and then come into downward dog, whichever way you want to, but eventually we all find downward dog and just pedal the feet out. Okay, then let's drop down onto the knees. When you're ready, we're gonna come on to the back here. I'm gonna have a block, just in case. If you've got something that you can use here, that's great. If you don't, that's also okay. So we've done a lot of forward folding in this class, just to stretch a lot of our legs, our hamstrings, and then into our glutes. So we're just gonna undo a little bit of the forward folding for a minute and come into bridge pose. So go ahead, plant your hands down by your side, tuck your shoulder blades under, inhale, lift the hips up, press through the feet, keep the knees, hips width distance apart, not flaring out and not caving in. And then if you want, you can take the block underneath the hips and sort of have a little more of a passive bridge pose, which is fine. And you can stay here the whole time without dropping down if you want to. Good, when you're ready, you can exhale and come down. Maybe you just take the feet wide and windshield wiper the knees back and forth, just rolling over those glutes. Okay, then we're going to come into that bridge again. And if you want to just add on a little bit here, you can. You can interlace the fingers behind your back, roll the shoulders under. Inhale, lifting the hips up, making sure there's no weight into the head or the neck. And just breathe, pressing through the feet. And again, if you have a block at home to use, you can advance this a little bit more by going onto the different levels of the block. So maybe on this round, you're up onto the higher level of the block. So you just come into a little bit more of a deeper back bend here, which feels really nice. And then when you're ready, you can exhale and come all the way down. Take your feet the width of your mat, windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Good. So for the next one we're going to do, you can repeat one of the two that we just did, or you can come into the bridge with the block, or you can find wheel. Just be careful if you're doing wheel. Make sure you're not on a slippery surface, and just be mindful of yourself. If you come up into wheel, we want really straight arms, and we want to draw the chest and the shoulders over the wrists as much as possible. So you're really kind of pushing through the feet and pressing your chest basically over your wrists, okay? So I'll just demo that a little bit. Mine's not perfect, but it's definitely in progress and we're working on it. So you take your fingertips towards your shoulders, press through the feet are hips width distance apart, and then lift, lift, lift. And then press the chest forward, straight arms, and breathe. And then when you're ready, slowly come down from your bridge or from your wheel, one vertebrae at a time. And then just draw the knees into the chest and rock from side to side. We have one more posture that we're going to do that's for the hips, and it's really for the back as well. It's Just really great. And it's a twist, which is awesome for us. So we're just going to take the arms out wide, take the knees, stack them up on top of the hips, take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, just take the knees over to the left, and then turn your knees over to the right. Finding a little surrender here, find a little peace. Soften your gaze, soften the jawline, and just melt into this. You can always straighten the legs if you'd like. You can take any leg position that you want here, and whatever you like to do. And just breathe and release. So when you're ready, go ahead and bring the knees back on top of the hips. Recenter your body if you need to. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take the knees over to the right. Turn the gaze over towards the left. Just releasing. Unclenching your jaw, softening the eyes. Come back to center. Now I encourage you at this point to take any inversion that you would like. Today I'm going to demonstrate one of my favorite inversions, and that's just legs up the wall. So if you're near a wall or a door, whatever you're close to, that's really good. Just get close to it. You're going to take your hip, whichever side you're turned towards, you're going to take your hip and get it really flush up against the wall. And then you're just going to kind of spin yourself and take your feet up the wall, and just keep them lifted here and breathe. Just allowing the feet to be above the heart for a few minutes every day is just so good for your cardiovascular system. And then your option here is a lot of different things. If you want to take a straddle stretch, you can take the legs out to the side and just relax as you go, as you breathe. You can come into a Baddha Konasana leg position or a butterfly leg position. That feels really good sometimes. Or you can just keep the legs straight up the wall. Just embrace whatever it is that you want to do, and even play around maybe with several different variations as you stay here. Close the eyes and breathe. And then maybe you make this part of your Shavasana. So maybe instead of moving your body or rolling your body down, maybe you just stay here. Soften the eyes. Let all the tension go out of your face. Let all the tension go out through your spine, all the way from the base of the neck, or the base of the head, all the way down through the tailbone, relaxing all the muscles throughout the entire body. I invite you to also take a traditional Shavasana if you would like. Just lying on the back, right foot extended to the right corner of your mat, left foot extended to the left corner of the mat, palms faced up, down by the sides, breathing and letting go. then whenever you're ready, you're just slowly going to start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe make your way out of whichever position you were in with the legs up the wall. If you were on your back, maybe you extend the arms overhead, extend the feet long. Take a full body stretch. Or if you have legs up the wall and you need to do that, then just go ahead and make your way onto your mat. You can draw the knees into the chest if you'd like and roll from onto one side or the other, just finding the last posture, any last movement that you need before we close out this asana practice today. So we'll slowly come up into a comfortable seated position. I want to thank you so much for joining me in your practice. The highest in me sees and honors the highest in you. Namaste.